Honourable Speaker, in your communication, you have mentioned that this is an election year. And rightly so, because the election is a process. It's not an event, as some people like to think of it, the day of casting the ballot. It's a process which happens beginning with the update of the voters register, all the way to all the other activities, nominations, campaigns, etc., and then eventually voting. Honourable Speaker, yesterday, update of the voters register commenced, but with numerous challenges with this very critical exercise, because this is an exercise that is meant to see new voters coming on board, people trying to be sure their details are on the voters register, those that want to make transfers, and so on and so forth. In many places, and I'm sure some colleagues here can attest, many places the process did not commence yesterday. And we are trying to understand why. Did this just fall on the Electoral Commission and they woke up and realized they need to start this process? Their officials were not in many places, including my constituency, in many parts of my constituency, which is just a few kilometers from Kampala. I'm now thinking about colleagues who come from far-flung places. Honourable Speaker, there has not been adequate awareness about this process by the Electoral Commission. Yesterday, I was dumbfounded to watch on the news a number of LC1 chairpersons, LC2 parish chairpersons, who did not know about this exercise. And yet the Electoral Commission is meant to do this in tandem with these local officials. In a couple of places, you find they have one computer per sub-county. And many of these computers are even faulty. They are not working as should be. Honourable Speaker, I like to think this is a very critical part of the election process. Because like I've said, the election is a process. Would like government to help us understand, are they taking this process seriously? Now that it did not even commence in time as should have, will they extend the time? Because we were actually concerned, thinking the 30 days are not even adequate. Now, it did not even start in time. 20 days, I beg your pardon. The 20 days, in our view, were not adequate, but now the process did not even start in time. Will the time be extended? But the other concern that I do have, Right Honourable Speaker, the process has been made extremely cumbersome, especially for the new voters. They have to get recommendation from GISO, DISO, HISO, FISO, I don't know what. It would make sense for the LC1 chairpersons. That's okay, that's understandable. They need to know the people in their areas and so on. But why all these layers? Somebody has got a national ID. They are known by their LC1 chairpersons. Why do they have to go and look for a GISO, then look for a DISO? They'll go to their home or their office, the place is locked, and all of this making the process problematic. Honourable Speaker, I would like government to address these issues and to help us understand. Can the process be made a little bit longer and better awareness? Thank you.
Thank you. Now, honourable colleagues, today I received 6 members. The first was Honourable Naruima Esther. So it was one of the matters I had put here to be considered under matters of national importance. 6 members on that same question. Attorney General, come respond, and then I see how best I can guide on this critical question.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. I appreciate the question as raised, but the question is quite wide and I do not want to answer it off head. I'm requesting that you give me time. I'll liaise with the Electoral Commission so that I can formally answer that question, Parliament.
Thank you. So, honourable colleagues, if a colleague says he doesn't have a satisfactory answer, okay, you want him to do what? You want to give you a half-baked answer? So, but, please, honourable colleagues, let us have a statement from government tomorrow. Is it late?
Honourable Speaker, firstly, I'm glad that the Attorney General has correctly advised the Executive to implement the court order. That's a good thing. However, I think that the learned Attorney General is misadvising the General Court Martial. The insinuation in the remarks of the Attorney General is that Court Martial keep holding on to these people until the DPP determines whether or not to take over this matter. I think that that's ultra-vires. Because for all of these people who are being held, Dr. Kizza Besigye, Obed Lutale, NUP political prisoners that have been held for over 4 years now, the Supreme Court said all those matters under the court martial should cease with immediacy. Now, Article 120 of our country's constitution, which provides for the office of the DPP, when you go all the way to number 6 under Article 120, it says that in the exercise of their authority, the DPP shall not be under the control or manipulation of anybody. So nobody is meant to give any order or directive to the DPP. What the learned Attorney General seems to be saying is that now the court martial is going to be directing the DPP to say, we have these matters, you take them up. That's against the law. What's meant to happen, Right Honorable Speaker, is that the court martial is meant to issue with immediacy release orders for these people, because the court martial no longer has any authority over these people. Completely release them, and then the DPP, in her choosing and in her investigations, if she determines that maybe there is any matter that's meant to come before the civilian courts, that can happen. But you see, the two courts are disjointed. Honorable, there is some information, if you'll allow, from...
In just a second, Right Honorable Leader of the Opposition, they have actually, from the communication of the Attorney General, they have actually already interfered with the independence of the DPP by telling her to go and liaise. So it is not that the DPP is not under control. They have already controlled her by telling her to go and liaise with the court martial.
Honorable, in my remaining 1 minute, I would like to cede ground to our Shadow Attorney General.
Thank you, Right Honorable Rope, and thank you, Council Segon and the Attorney General. Mr. Speaker, sir, this particular judgment falls in the category of what we call self-executing judgments. It's a judgment that should be complied with without any other process as alluded to by the Attorney General. Actually, if I were the Commissioner of Prisons, I would have released all those individuals mentioned in the judgment, including the UPDF officers undergoing trials in the General Court Martial in respect of offenses tried by civil courts. And then, as you normally do, you would arrest the people outside the prisons, take them to police, detain them for 48 hours, charge those you can, make fictitious charges against those you can, and do the like. But I think, yeah, otherwise, other than that, what is happening, Right Honorable Speaker, and the Attorney General agrees, is that all players, especially the prison warders who are detaining these people, are doing so illegally. We are literally doing so in utter disregard of the constitutional provisions. So we have overthrown the Constitution. But be that as it may, Mr. Speaker, my worry is in what is actually being planned by the government. Because the information we've got is that they are now trying to come up with a bill to overturn the Supreme Court judgment. And that is the reason why the Attorney General has advised a series of procedures to be taken, which he himself knows are inherently illegal. So, Mr. Attorney General, sir, my learned friend, don't put my brother Yabashija, the Commissioner of Prisons, into problems. Because today, after here, we will advise the affected persons to take out contempt proceedings against him as an individual. And he will not rely on our advice, because this particular judgment is self-executing and does not envisage you to advise them to do anything to the contrary. So just advise the man to release the people, send your police to arrest them outside the prison gates, and then begin the processes if you so wish.
Speaker, without revisiting your ruling, I'm just trying to see how we get a balancing act so that the concerns raised by the people of Uganda through these, the legislators, are attended to. How do we get committal from government that they are going to attend to these issues, and for that matter by way of an update, because these issues are very critical, they are of concern out there. So I don't know, maybe let me wait to get your attention, sir. I wanted to see how you could guide, right, Honourable Speaker, how we get committal from government to address these concerns of the general public, because these are cross-cutting issues. Cross-cutting, by the way. This side, that's what our people are raising as concerns.
Can I have the attention of the Attorney General?
So how do we, Mr. Attorney General and government, get committal that these issues of concern are going to be addressed in a timely manner? Because that's what is hovering over us, really.
Attorney General?
Right, Honourable Speaker. I also join you in welcoming colleagues back from the political battlefield. I know that most people are out there fighting for their political lives. I quipped and I told the Prime Minister, the acting Prime Minister, that she's very smart. Yes, she's very smart, right, Honourable Speaker. Right, Honourable Speaker, today is day number 65 since presidential campaigns kicked off officially. They officially began on 29th September of this very year. So today is day number 65. And you did allude to campaigns, wishing people to have successful campaigns. We are out there at various levels, presidential, parliamentary, and so on. Honourable Speaker, the campaigns kicked off fairly well. Peacefully, people were out there campaigning, especially the presidential campaigns, and we were happy. In fact, at some point we were here, and I commended government. I said, here I'll give you credit, because so far we are not being disrupted. We hope it continues that way. But alas, it was as if we were triggering them to do otherwise. The campaigns have now become brutal. Very unfortunately and unexpectedly. People are being shot dead, others are injured, many are incarcerated. Tear gas has become the order of the day. Dogs are being used to attack citizens, akin to what used to happen under the apartheid regime in South Africa. Police trucks, police cars are being used for crowd control. That when people are standing on the roadsides, waving to their presidential candidates of choice, the way police pushes some of them off the road is by driving into them, and a number of them have sustained numerous injuries because of that. Honourable Speaker, I saw the IGP, Mr. Abbas Byakagaba, yesterday. He held a press conference. And as we have been making these complaints, why is the brutality setting in so intense a manner? He made remarks and said, the presidential candidate of the National Unity Platform, the party I belong to and speak for, is to blame for the brutality meted out to our supporters because we hold processions. That was according to IGP Abbas Byakagaba. I said, now, there's a problem here. Our colleagues in the NRM regularly hold processions, very regularly, including yesterday, Right Honourable Speaker, because candidate Yoweri Museveni Tibuhaburwa Kaguta was in Mbarara and Rampara, and they held processions in anticipation of him. They even had a band leading them in holding these processions. Now, it is honestly hypocritical for IGP Abbas Byakagaba to say, NUP, we are shooting at you, tear gassing you, using dogs at you and so on, because you're holding processions. But our colleagues in the NRM are holding processions. Why these double standards? Why this alarming hypocrisy, Right Honourable Speaker? And by the way, I don't want to be misconstrued. I don't fault the NRM colleagues for holding processions. It's campaign time. When a candidate is meant to be in a district, it will be different. That's why police is notified and so on to make sure law and order prevails, because there is political activity. So I do not fault NRM for holding processions at all, because it is campaign time. My challenge is when NUP and the opposition hold processions, it is illegal. And so they must be shot dead, they must be beaten, tear gassed, and so on. And for the NRM colleagues, it is okay. This is hypocrisy. And all of us should be condemning this. Because if actually processions are illegal, it should cut across. My considered view is that they are not illegal. Government should tell us. It's good the Attorney General is here, Prime Minister is here, very smart, as I said. Are processions illegal if it is NUP supporters? But if it is NRM supporters, as we saw in Barara yesterday and elsewhere, they are okay and legal. They need to let us know so that we are clarified on that. Honourable Speaker, as I quickly wrap up, yesterday again I saw something. The police truck in Barara was ferrying NRM supporters to take them to Boma grounds where the NRM candidate was to hold a rally. I got a bit confused. I said, now, on the one hand, you're beating our supporters, but you're helping to ferry supporters of another candidate. How does this work? When we saw His Lordship Justice Simon Byabakama, the EC chairperson, saying, after you have voted, please go home, police will protect your votes. People are wondering, now, this police is ferrying supporters of another candidate to their rally, and you expect that they are going to protect the votes of everybody? It does not quite make sense, right, Honourable Speaker.
You said police was ferrying supporters of another candidate.
Yes, the police truck
from where?
In Mbarara, ferrying them to Boma grounds for the rally of candidate Yoweri Museveni. That was yesterday, right, Honourable Speaker.
I was actually in Mbarara yesterday. Okay.
I don't know if you didn't see it, right, Honourable Speaker, but it happened in Mbarara yesterday. Right, Honourable Speaker, the 6 p.m. narrative that I saw the IGP talk about. Yes, according to the regulations and the guidelines, presidential rallies should end at 6 p.m. All rallies, actually. We should endeavor to respect these guidelines. I have a challenge, Honourable Speaker, in my camp and my presidential candidate. Police will normally take us off the main roads. A distance that should be 20 minutes ends up lasting 3 to 4 hours. So inevitably, you will get to a rally late. And this is a complaint that we have raised regularly. Why is it that where other presidential candidates pass, the NUP presidential candidate is not allowed to pass? What is the issue? That you have to take us around in these circles. So it's good that we get some procedural guidance on this issue, right, Honourable Speaker. Allow me 1 extra minute. Because this is very important, right, Honourable Speaker. We were in Kayunga. After we were taken in circles, we got to the venue 5 minutes to 6 p.m. When the candidate began to speak, 2 minutes past 6, police began to lob tear gas canisters, firing in the air, and so on, attacking the crowd, and caused a deadly stampede. So I wondered, what exactly are you trying to cure? Because, yes, 6 p.m. is the cut-off time, and we are trying to abide by it. But of course, we are taken in circles, so we might get there a few minutes late. 5 minutes past 6, you are attacking a huge crowd and causing a deadly stampede. How does that make even legal sense? It does not, right, Honourable Speaker. Even then, right, Honourable Speaker, why use bullets, tear gas, and so on? Because you're trying to implement a 6 p.m. rule, and you are killing people unnecessarily. Honourable Speaker, again I saw...
There's information, if you can take it.
Information from Honourable Ethel.
Additional information. Thank you so much, Lop, for giving way. In addition, this information is also needed. Yesterday, what we experienced in Shira Municipality, Wakiso District, I'm actually a victim. Not now, this time, police. UPDF trucks, a truck, 2 of them came to my side of the car. They hit my mirror. They are numberless. They have hidden their number plates. And they are on the road. They are aiding police, but the way they are behaving. So we are saying that, how comes now even the UPDF trucks are part of the police security, police security, but they are hiding their trucks. We cannot say this number plate is the one that has hit my car. They have affected the public address system, which we are using. They have hit, these UPDF officers, they hit yesterday our public address system truck. So we are saying now, whom should we ask and why? Thank you for your information.
There is information from Kimosho.
Thank you.
I'll take the information from my former committee member, Honorable Kimosho.
Thank you. Thank you, my former chairman. Honorable Speaker, I wanted to inform my former chairman and the leader of opposition to take heart that sometimes, in Kazo, I hosted the president recently, and I had organized a huge procession. It was supposed to be about 4 kilometers. And police stopped me even when I'm in NRM. And so take heart, some of these things are not targeting Nope. As you guide Right Honorable, maybe let's look into this matter holistically, but I don't think it is targeting Nope.
One thing we can tell you, whether you're NRM,
Yes.
whether you're opposition,
Yes.
if the regulations
Yes.
and the guidelines are saying no procession, there is no discrimination.
Yes.
We don't want procession.
The-
And even if NRM is doing it, they should stop it.
That's
If
what,
opposition is doing, please stop it.
Thank you for
as
the
I conclude,
information.
as I conclude,
I thought you were done with your information, Honorable colleague.
Let him finish.
may we
Let him
allow the
finish.
speaker maybe to do her work? As I conclude, Right Honorable Speaker, what I wanted to bring out clearly is that it shouldn't be misconstrued that it is Nope being targeted. Because I was stopped, I had organized everything. I actually got headache because of stress. And so it was a bad thing, and I'm sharing the feeling with my brother that possessions are not allowed.
Thank you for that information. I sympathize with you. You know, whenever we talk about election rigging, I saw colleagues in the NRM camp complaining about their votes being stolen, money being used, and so on, including people who sit on the front bench. So yes, some of what we suffer, some of you will suffer. That's why we should collectively say this is wrong and condemn it. Because if it is going to be okay for some, you will be targeted when you annoy the powers that be, Honorable Chimosho.
So you
and so
finish.
they will not allow you. Honorable Speaker, you were giving me information. Honorable Speaker, again I saw the IGP talking about some of their officers being assaulted, some pushing and shoving. I saw a video which the police displayed. A very problematic video, a female police officer who was being pushed around by some people. The IGP said those were our supporters. I don't know where he gets that from, whether they had tags or whatever. But look, anybody that commits an offense, that person should be arrested and prosecuted. As you know, and it's the same narrative they're using. Some of them pellet stones and so on, and they say we have videos. I say, look, if you have seen and recorded somebody pushing a police officer, why then do you have to fire at a crowd? Pick up that person, prosecute them. Honorable Speaker, never have we been on record to say it is okay for police officers to be assaulted. I'll remind the House, Honorable Speaker, in 2022, July thereabout, there was a police constable called Robert Mukebezi that was shot at by a UPDF officer. He was on duty. A UPDF car got involved in an accident, so he was towing it to a police station. They intercepted him and shot him. The man lost his leg. We kept coming here demanding for justice for Constable Robert Mukebezi. The police abandoned him, his institution of work. The army had done nothing at all. Up to now, that man is still suffering. And we have raised that issue, you remember, Honorable Speaker. So that's to show you that we are concerned about anyone that finds themselves offended
Thank you.
legally.
Thank you.
Finally, right, Honorable Speaker. This is the final issue. Honorable Speaker, we are getting close to an election. The Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs in April of this year was here, and he told us that they are going to table regulations on how biometric voter verification machines are going to apply themselves in the upcoming election. He made that commitment. That time they were seeking supplementary funding to purchase more of these kits. And we asked, where are you basing all of this? And he promised here on the floor, April of 2025, this year, that he will bring the regulations. We have 1 month to an election. They keep coming and asking for money, including some of the supplementaries that are going to be tabled. They want money for the voter verification machines. What guidelines are you going to base on? I saw candidate Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. He made a statement when he was campaigning somewhere. He said, the biometric machines are what we are going to use mandatorily. A polling station where the machine will not work, voting will not happen. I was a bit confused there, and I want government to clarify. With our network issues, we saw what happened in the last election with the census. These machines, the far to reach areas, including Kampala anyway, and the neighboring areas, network will fail, usage will fail. So if you say, we are going to use these biometric machines mandatorily, so where they don't work, there is no voting. So what will happen? In Honorable Kazo Chimosho, who is also saying he's targeted sometimes, if they say we don't want this man back, they make sure at his polling stations the machines fail, or any other person anyway. That means no voting will happen.
Thank you.
What happens? But also those regulations, we need them so that we are able to interact with them, punch holes in them, and otherwise. Thank you for accommodating my concerns, Right Honorable. All honesty, for starters, I think we need to clean up how we do certain things. We are all here. When you look at some of the issues being raised, we want certain roads to be worked on. We don't want to be fighting over that. But you see, even when we want some of these roads to be fixed and so on, let's tick all the boxes procedurally so that we don't have a fight regarding the law. You see, the order paper, item number 3, is talking about laying of these requests. And the Minister of Finance laid them. Item number 4, the committee chairperson is coming to table a report. And then the House has got to constitute itself into a committee of supply. We need to clean up some of these things so that we look neat, even legally. Away from that, Right Honourable Speaker, and again, as yes, the order paper is talking about laying and so on. The committee already sat. The reports are ready. Some of these things, when the public that follows
Honorable Lop,
our live broadcasts.
We agreed, first of all, you should also accept that we do consultation, me and you. I told you, we consult. I told my Lop that we received these loans because it is urgent. I did administrative referral. And he said, well, it may not be very smart, but since it has happened, we consult. You get it as an institution.
Right, Robo, and I want to thank you for that consultative element. It happened this morning when the committee report was already ready, all the processes had happened. Maybe if I at least had been notified earlier on, a few days when the administrative decision was being taken. But now we are here. Now we are dealing with these matters. And here are some of the quick concerns that I do have, Right Honourable Speaker. We want to purchase new aircraft for Uganda Airlines for 22 billion shillings. You see, when you read Regulation 18 of the Public Finance Management Act of 2016, those regulations are very instructive. These supplementary items have got to be unavoidable. They have got to be unforeseeable. How is it that we did not foresee some of these things that we are talking about? That some emergency has happened. I would have expected this for some of the emergencies. Colleagues are always here telling us about how floods have hit their areas, bridges have collapsed and so on. That's when the Ministry of Finance is supposed to come here very quickly and say, hey, this was unforeseeable. It has happened. We need to deal with it. But some of these things, you're supposed to plan. We were here for the budget process, planning together. Why did you not bring these issues? That you're bringing them here now. We are scrambling. The Speaker has to call members, come from your constituencies and so on, to come and deal with an emergency. This is a bad planning issue. Honourable Speaker, we are talking about 300 billion shillings for countrywide youth mobilization tours. I saw somebody defending it and saying, this has been part of ongoing plans. If it was part of ongoing plans, why did you not encapsulate it in the budget? Why? Now you hear what he's saying. Anyway, good enough is even off record. You would all be disturbed by the response. Let's plan for all of these things. Because now, when we come here, we go through the budget, we quarrel over what we quarrel over, we refuse this and maybe allow some things, and then a short while later you're coming and saying, hey, this was unforeseeable. No, I don't believe so. I don't agree. There's another disturbing issue. 37 billion shillings for a power stabilizer at Namave to enable Roofings Group extend steel manufacturing. This is not a national project, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues. This is a direct subsidy to a private wealthy individual. I have specifically raised many complaints here, severally. These subsidies, the monies that we extend to Atiak, Sugar Factory, to Rocco, Inspire Africa Coffee Factory, and so on and so forth, you have never come out clean here for people to know this is how I access a shot in the arm from government. Because we have ordinary people downtown with their small shops and so on, they also have loans. Their businesses are also crumbling. And they're saying, I would want government to aid me. Why is government aiding only a few wealthy ones? What's the process? So that somebody knows, this is how I apply. But you will come here for roofings, you'll come for Rocco, you'll come for Atiak, Day Biopharma, Inspire Africa Coffee. How do these things make sense to your ordinary voters who are also doing business and they're saying, I'm struggling?
Love, actually, what you're saying is correct, because even when we empower, the empowerment, most of the empowerment is within the Kampala youth, your voters. So you find the Bukeda people are complaining. So you're one of the beneficiaries of this empowerment. You see, this kind of thing.
Honourable Speaker, I'm not a beneficiary. That's why I'm complaining. And by the way, I'm not saying governments world over do this. Governments world over, they subsidize private entities and so on. But there is a clear modus operandi on how to do this. But now you leave people to suspect that company there. Maybe somebody in government has got shares. So they begin to speculate how for them they're able to access all of this help. Does not make sense. Honourable Speaker, 79 billion shillings, part of this is for handheld hose to 7 million households. In the year 2025, we still want to purchase handheld hose for people, and yet we are talking about modernizing agriculture. But we want to purchase 7 million hose. This is my considered view, me as Joel Ssenyonyi. I'm saying it is problematic.
Honorable Joel,
we should be advancing.
Honorable Joel, just there are areas that cannot use the other kind of tractors. If you look at a place like Honorable Musasisi's place, if you look at a place like Sebei, Honorable Inikwen, you don't need the big tractors. You need those handheld hose.
That's okay, right, Honorable Speaker. I am only saying we have been talking about modernizing agriculture. That's the direction we should be taking.
That is part of modernization.
This is my considered view, right, Honorable Speaker. I should be allowed space to air my view, which is contrary to some people. Yeah, so as far as I am concerned, saying we are spending 79 billion shillings to purchase 7 million hose, especially during this electoral season, there's so many question marks here. Honorable Speaker, 20 billion shillings is required by Uganda Airlines to settle dates for aircraft engine maintenance. So we bought the planes, but we forgot the budget for servicing them. That's what this means. That's why you're coming here with a supplementary. The new aircraft we want to purchase is from the manufacturer Boeing. We have Airbuses. So now you want to have a bit of this and a bit of the other. Why don't you take advantage of economies of scale? You're scrambling jets with spare parts. All of these things are not taken care of, Honourable Speaker. The Ministry of Tourism wants 6 billion shillings, partly to commemorate Martyrs' Day across Anglican, Catholic and Muslim faith. Every year we do this. Why did you not plan for this, government? For me, that's what I find quixotic. That you bring this through a supplementary. Every year, we are always here talking about Uganda Martyrs' Day, how it is a big tourism potential event. but you don't plan for it. Honorable Speaker, protect me from this man from Kasambia. So I'm saying that this is poor planning, honestly. Finally, Right Honorable Speaker, the Electoral Commission needs 469 billion shillings to create 15,256 new polling stations, 1.5 months to the election. How can this be okay? We have had 5 years to plan for an election. So 1.5 months to an election is when you're saying, oh, we need to create 15,000 new polling stations, give us money. But how?
Honorable Joel.
And then...
Honorable Joel.
Yes, Right Honorable Speaker.
Do they just need to create or they have created?
Right Honorable Speaker, and that's the entire plan.
That is a concern to all of us. This one is not partisan. Do they just need to create or they have created?
Honorable Speaker, and that's the planning element I am talking about. So at whichever time you have created them, it is now that you're saying we need money, as if you did not plan for it. But why? Why do you not plan properly? 1.5 months to an election. That's my big concern. Honorable Speaker, the biometric voter verification kits, part of which this money is going to take care of. Again, as I did mention earlier on, there are so many unanswered questions here. You're coming here to Parliament and saying, give us money. Members of Parliament are asking questions about these machines. In the past, they have been used and they never functioned. Network issues, usability, and so on and so forth. But you are saying, give us money. 1.5 months to elections. When is training going to happen? For all stakeholders, by the way, including us in this house. I need to know how this machine works because I'm a stakeholder. It's not just for the Electoral Commission officials. So that when I am sending my agents out, I have equipped them. This is what you need to look out for. This is how this thing works. This is when you know there is a problem. 1.5 months to the election. All of that is a green area. Honorable Speaker, we need government to come clean on this biometric voter verification kits. For all of us, by the way, as I did mention, I had colleagues in the NRM, some of them complaining that they were being rigged in their primaries and so on and so forth. This is a concern for all of us, not just we in the opposition. You also want to be sure that this process is fair, it is understandable, regardless where you do belong. So we need cleanness from the state regarding this.
These people are distracting me.
Finally, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable.
And you see, that's why it's always important to operate in the open. So you come here for money for these machines. You have little, if any, information about them, the one asking for the money. All stakeholders are not brought on board. Who are we purchasing them from? How are they meant to function? And so on and so forth. We have had concerns about network usability in the past and so on. And then we hear these machines could be used mandatorily. Because you see, government also needs to come out very clearly on that matter. Are they saying these kits are going to be used mandatorily? We need a yes or no, so that we know.
Electoral Commission should come out clear, not government, because the leadership in government are all candidates. So let Electoral Commission come out.
Honorable Speaker, here in Parliament, the Electoral Commission is represented by the Ministry of Justice and the Attorney General. The EC chairperson does not sit here, and that's why we're putting these issues to government. Yeah, so it's important that we get to know. Are they going to be used mandatorily? If so, what happens where network fails? What happens where some of the officials, as we saw in the last election, the polling official does not know how to use the thing? Because we have a month to the elections, they have not been purchased yet. My final concern, Right Honorable Speaker.
But also, before you come to the final concern, those are some of the issues that when we are having an interaction with the EC, that we should be able to ask EC and we should be able to get responses to that effect.
Thank you, and I really hope that those